Hello, Sonoran herbalist here in the high mountains of southwest Colorado at about 10,600 feet or so, and we're searching for Arnica. This is a native Arnica, and most likely we're going to find Arnica Cordifolia or heart-leafed Arnica. Heart-leafed Arnica is the most prominent Arnica in North America, and definitely the dominant Arnica here in the Southwest, particularly in New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. So here's a patch of Arnica cordifolia in flower. It is early July 2012. And we're in a small spruce forest above a lake, again at about 10,600 feet or so. And let's take a closer look at Arnica. There's the composite flower of Arnica. Ray flowers and disc flowers. The disc flowers at the center are slightly darker. You can pick that up. And it has long ray flowers that are toothed. Arnica cordifolia is known as heart-leafed Arnica. Cordifolia, the species name, signifies that. If you look at the leaf, you can see with its serrated edge, resembles somewhat of a heart shape. It is variable in shape. Could be more of a stout heart to an elongated leaf that does not quite resemble a heart. I've noticed here at this location that the teeth are a little bit more pronounced than in other places I've seen it. For differentiation, locally in the Southwest and in the Basin and Range area of the West, Arnica latifolia is another commonly found Arnica, not nearly as common as heart-leafed Arnica, and its leaves are also opposite, just as Arnica cordifolia, but they are more linear, less cordate in shape. Arnica grows generally in the subalpine region, where we're at right now, but it can be found in montane zone or mixed conifer forest. Generally going to be in patches underneath spruce and fir, or up moist canyons where you'll find it most prominent. This is a relatively dry year, but this is a nice patch. This is actually on a western facing hillside, but gets a lot of shade. Giving you a view of how prolific it is, spreading throughout this forest as a ground cover. So a little bit more information on the identification of Arnica. Once you know the scent of Arnica, that will give it away. The taste on your fingers after you've rubbed your fingers onto the plant a number of times will be quite bitter, and that'll last even after a couple of washings. If we can get a view here of the stem of the opposite basal leaves, Arnica leaves are always in pairs. You can possibly pick out the fine hairs on the leaf, and there's normally a reddish hue, at least at the base, if not coming up the stems. It's a perennial, and it grows primarily underground. It is not uncommon to see only a few flowers coming up in this patch, whereas most of the basal leaves don't flower in a single year. Arnica As I mentioned, this is a native Arnica. Arnica montana is most commonly used in commerce. That is a native European plant, but the heart-leafed Arnica is quite prolific in North America. Looking at some of the companion plants that you might find growing with Arnica, there's some yarrow, wild strawberry, another rose family plant, potentilla or cinquefoil, a variety of other Asteraceae, perhaps senecio or dandelion. There's dandelion. This is a wild parsley. There is some osha or chuchupate in this area. You may also find heart-leafed Arnica growing in aspen groves, mixed with Doug fir, other firs, spruce. It will not be as low as ponderosa pine. And again, if it is in the lower montane zone, it is only going to be found in the shady areas with a significant amount of moisture and shade throughout the day. It'll be in a situation something like this, rimming the base of an old spruce or fir, just as you see these large leaves here. Another thing about Arnica leaves is that they are fuzzy and somewhat greasy. You will see a fine powder, almost looks like a sawdust on these leaves. That is likely the pollen of the spruce. In other areas this season where there's been a lot of fire, I found ash collecting on the Arnica leaves. Here's another possible companion plant. This is the infamous death camas, or zygodinus, highly toxic and potentially fatal plant. Primarily, that's going to happen when someone thinks it's a wild onion in the spring. The leaves are quite different than most wild onions, but as a general rule of thumb, anything that looks like a lily, wait for the flower, or at least get a definite onion smell before consuming. So again, giving you a view of the Arnica carpet covering this spruce forest. Some other companion plants. This is a Lonicera, twin bearberry. This one's young, not in fruit yet. We also have a ribes, or a wax currant, another wild food. Remember, when harvesting plants for medicine or food, always harvest responsibly and always have a positive identification. This has been John Slattery for Desert Tortoise Botanicals and Sonoran Herbalists. You can visit our website for more information on our offerings on herbal products from the Desert Southwest and herbal education in the field. Arnica cordifolia.